Back here on GoPSUSports.com, here inside Rec Hall, men's volleyball practice just took place behind me, and I'm here with outside hitter Aaron Russell. And Aaron, you look at what happened last week in two very competitive matches against the top two teams in the nation. What do you take from those matches, and how do you apply them to the rest of the season?
That's the level that we want to be at, and we're not there right now since we lost. So we have something we need to work towards, and we have kind of a motivation to continue to improve. We know where we have to be, and those are teams that we're going to play out later in the season and postseason and stuff. So I think that's kind of a good gauge where we are after this weekend.
And what has been the focus in practice this week, looking forward to this weekend?
A lot of it is our block and defense. It wasn't the best, and they were able to, a few points in the match, to score as they please. And so we're trying to get that and just a more of a competitive and an aggressive attitude, just to continue to go for balls and to just fight hard for every point.
And with defense comes offense. You lead the nation with 4.72 kills percent. Not sure if you know that or not, but how do you continue that strength of your game?
It's what the guys do around me. I wouldn't be scoring the way I am without their help, and a lot of it is passing and digging, and they know Taylor is setting well, so it's a whole team effort, and I just use my experience and what I do best, so that's how it happens.
And Mount Olive Friday, first conference game, EIVA conference game of the season against St. Francis on Saturday. First of all, are you expecting your family and Peter back up here for this weekend? And second of all, what's the mindset going into this weekend?
I think they're going to be there, so they're going to be cheering me on, and then the team on, which will be nice. We expect still another competitive weekend. They're traveling here. They've been here quite a few times, and they haven't beaten us, so I'm sure that Mount Olive is going to want to win. And St. Francis is our conference opener, so they always have a chip on their shoulder against us, in-state rivals, I guess. So it's going to be interesting.
Great, thanks, Aaron. Good luck this week.
Yep.
Now we make our way up to head coach Mark Pavlik's office here at Rec Hall. Nice and cozy in here.
The sanctuary.
The sanctuary. Doing some praying, having some bobbleheads behind you. A nice little ambiance in your office.
It withstood the earthquake.
I think it's withstood a lot through the years.
I believe if these walls could talk, yes.
21st season as head coach here at the helm of the Penn State men's volleyball program. But we're back, and looking at last week, two competitive matches against the top two teams in the country. And I know you said that no team wins championships in January, and that there's still a lot to move on from those two matches, but what positives do you take away?
Well, we competed very well with them for about 95% of the match. Good teams, when they get to 18, they find a way to close the other team out. Right now, Lewis and Loyola have found that way, and we're still trying to figure that one out. But I think that's a work in progress. You walk away saying that the physicality level we were comfortable with. We can take it as much as give it. So it puts us in a position where now we certainly can continue to demand the physicality, but not only the physicality, but everything else that goes along with it throughout a match that we expect from our guys.
So with all of that being said, what specific areas of practice are you working on this week? Because Aaron said a lot of defensive blocking at the net. Those are two focuses that he said. Do you agree? Is there more to that?
No, I think so. I think that's it. But I think there is certainly, a factor, and you can call it what you will, competitiveness, toughness, urgency, however you want to describe it. But it boils down to locking in, making sure that you're making the opponent earn those last points, and you're in a position where you're not going to give anything up easily. And I thought that was the one thing that when we got to 20, we gave up some easy points that against good teams, you're not going to get those chances back. Your first chance is many times your final chance. So you got to make sure it counts. So we're trying to impress upon our guys, hey, that's what we need to carry through.
So with intangibles being worked on, You look at a sport like baseball, the sabermetrics, all the stats and numbers that you use to help develop different plays and different schemes against different opponents. That's the same with volleyball too, isn't it?
Very much so. You look at baseball, you can have a stat for every time someone touches the ball, misses the ball, or makes an attempt for the ball. Volleyball is no different, and we're probably a little bit behind the curve, because the sabermetrics people are out there with all this data, and more than anything else, companies have said, oh, there's a burgeoning market out there that we can make a lot of money. And I don't think men's volleyball is yet a burgeoning market, but I think some of the stats that we take, we certainly apply to trying to apply to in-game situations, try to apply more so to how do we train. Are we training the right way? Are we seeing the results over time? Are they trending the way we need them to trend? And what we do with Mike Hobson on the bench, he is essentially grading every contact. The data projects, the data volley statistical system we have is a pretty sophisticated one. It's shared by just about all the men's teams in the country, and certainly the majority of the top men's teams in the world. And you can break that down, you can cull it, and you can move it in any direction you want to see what you want to see. Do you want to see how many times we pass a ball off of our left side that results in Taylor setting from the right side of the court and giving a ball to Nick, who's back row, on a full moon on a Tuesday? So, it can get to a point where you got to be careful. Are you looking at stats for stats' sake, or are you looking at this is a tendency? How can we fix it? How can we enhance it?
And one stat that doesn't lie right now is the fact that Aaron Russell, your outside hitter, is leading the nation with 4.72 kills per set. A very humble player. What is it like having him to coach?
Many times it makes a coach's job easier when your best player is your hardest worker. He has the understanding of what it takes to make people around him better. Once your best player understands that and fully embraces it, other people come along and start to do that. And Aaron's been that way from day one. We brought him in as a middle because that was where he played in high school, and we told him the fastest way for you to be on the court, we need you in the middle. So he played middle his freshman year. Said, now we're moving you outside to a position that you really haven't played at this level. He embraced the challenge and has really worked his butt off to get where he's at. And if we can, I have no doubt we're going to continue to get that type of performance out of Aaron. But what people aren't going to see is his effect in the practice gym. Today, we were in a tough situation. His team was bleeding points. He went back to serve, and he made it. He created a situation where his team worked his way out of it instead of waiting for him to kind of carry them out of it. And I thought that was a mark of somebody that wants to make sure his teammates know what it takes to be successful.
And so with that being said, heartfelt words there, Pav. This upcoming weekend, home again, both matches at Rec Hall, Friday at 7 p.m. against Mount Olive, and then first conference game of the season, Saturday night against interstate rival, per se, that's what Aaron alluded to it as, against St. Francis to start the season. That's at 8 p.m. at Rec Hall, so 2 matches, 2 more opportunities. What's the mindset?
Well, I think that that this team is maybe appropriately teed off, and they want to take it out on somebody. I would hope that they walk in and don't make any value judgments on who's across the net, but really take control of our performance and what we do on our side of the net. And if we can control what we can control, if we play at the level that we're capable of playing, like we saw this weekend, it makes it real tough for the opponents to beat us, but they've got to play at a high level for a long time. And we'll see where we're at on that continuum of performance and execution.
And also this weekend, it's EIVA rallies. Pav, can you tell us a little bit about that?
The philanthropic effort that the EIVA has had for the last several years is trying to help Sloan Kettering Cancer Research Hospital along. When you're playing your travel partner, us and St. Francis, the home team tries to put something together, we will have a silent auction with the proceeds going to the Sloan Kettering Cancer Research with the name of the EIVA. And it's something near and dear to all of our hearts. I think cancer's touched every one of us in some form or another, and certainly all of us in the EIVA tip our hats to the efforts that the great doctors and nurses do at the hospital for those that come in for their treatment, and just trying to get through that challenge that everybody faces. So one of the other things that we've done, and as we kick this around within the EIVA to start something like this, the EIVA rallies came up, and all of a sudden we're talking rally caps and everything, but it's going to boil to generally both of the head coaches are wearing some type of attire. So we'll see whether my son lets me have his fedora or something like that.
Thanks for the time, Pav. So this weekend, Friday and Saturday, make your way out to Rec Hall to see some Penn State men's volleyball. For GoPSUSports.com, I'm Tyler Feldman.